we are back with our new edition. Hope you enjoyed solving this one as well and you have been able to solve most of the questions. In case you have some doubts, we are here to solve your queries. So let's first go to our slide which had identified the pattern. It was easy, wasn't it? Let's see. So, what was the first pattern? Over here, we have to study the pattern and complete the series. Let's go to number 1. Over here, what is given? 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 and the 2 blanks we would have to fill. So, if you study the pattern, can you derive or see the logic behind it? What could be the pattern by which we are getting number after number? Initially we have 1, again we have 1, then we have 2. So how has this 2 come? If you see the previous numbers, you see it was 1 and 1. Hey, yes, 1 plus 1 is 2. So that could be the logic behind this 2. Let's check with our next number. Next number is 3. How have we got the 3 here? Previous one was 2 and before that was 1. So if we add these two previous numbers, 2 plus 1 is 3. So this pattern is working. Let's check with this one. 5. So the two numbers prior to it was 3 and 2 and 3 plus 2 is 5. Yes, so we have identified our pattern. So for 8 it was 5 plus 3. So for our next number it should be 8 plus 5 which is 13. So our number is 13. And our next number in the series should be 13 plus 8 which is 21. So we have solved this series. It was easy just adding up the previous two numbers. Let's go to our next one. Over here what do we have? 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Who over here knows the multiplication table of 2? Everyone, isn't it? So 2 into 2, 4, 4 into 2, 8, 8 into 2, 16, 16 into 2, 32, 32 into 2, 64. So over here, all the previous numbers are getting multiplied by 2 to get the next number. So the next one should be 64 into 2 is 128. And the last one should be 128 into 2 which is 256. So yes, we have been able to solve our first two patterns. Now let's go to the third pattern. If you remember your last edition, over there we had a pattern where some numbers were given and they had certain solution. They were equal to something and we had to identify how. And I all asked you to start with the first rule of arithmetic, which is addition. So let's try that here as well. 3 plus 2 is 5, but no, that is not our answer. Let's move to subtraction then. 3 minus 2 is 1, which is also not our answer. In the next one also 6 plus 3 is 9, 6 minus 3 is 3, so which is not equal to our answers here. Now if you look at these numbers 3 and 2 and the answer is 7, by doing what? Addition, subtraction, multiplication or division do we come closest to 7? Yes, you are right. By multiplying these two numbers, 3 into 2 is 6. But still 6 is not our answer. Then what could it be? 3 into 2 is 6, but our answer is 7. That is, the difference still is 1. 7 minus 6, 1. So we still have to find out that 1. Where do we have here? 3 minus 2 is 1. Yes, so that could be a possibility. So what are we doing? First we are multiplying these two numbers. 3 into 2 is 6 and then we are subtracting 3 minus 2 which is 1. So First, by multiplying, we are getting 6. And then by subtracting, we are getting 1. So, 6 plus 1 is then becoming 7. So, now we know how we have done this. First, we are multiplying these two numbers. And then we are subtracting these two numbers. And then adding these two, which gives our answer. It worked for the first row. Let's try for the next row. 6 into 3 is what? 18. So let's write 18 over here. 6 minus 3 is what? It's 3. So let's write 3 over here and then add these two up. 18 plus 3 is 21. Yes, so this pattern worked for us. Let's go to the third one. 8 into 3. Quickly. 24. 8 minus 3. 5. And adding 24 plus 5 is 29, which is our answer. Let's do the fourth one. 8 into 5. Yes, it's 40. And 8 minus 5 is 3. So 40 plus 3 is 43. So what should be our answer here, guys? It should be 9 into 7, which is 63. And 9 minus 7, which is 2. Okay. And then finally adding these two up. 63 plus 2 is 65. So here we have our answer. 65. So, first we tried with addition, then we tried with subtraction, then we chose multiplication because by multiplication we were closest to our answers, and then we observed the difference and found out the way how can that difference be arrived, and we wrote it over here, and then we saw by adding these two results, we are getting our final result. So this is the way we can solve these patterns. The best way is to prepare a chart, that is work on the columns and write your answers one by one so that you see the final solution. Hope you could understand it properly. Moving on, we come to our Sudoku section. Very interesting, isn't it? I love solving Sudokus. How many of you enjoyed? I'm sure most of you did. So what is the trick behind a Sudoku? What exactly Sudoku is? Sudoku is a combination of rows and columns where there are digits appearing. And the basic rule is that no row or no column should have any number or digit repeated. That is, if you see this row, 1 and 4 is already here. So the three blank spaces cannot be taken up by 1 or 4 again. Similarly, for the column, 3 and 5 is already there. So the three blank spaces cannot have 3 or 5. And another rule is that each row and each column should have all the numbers at least, that is not at least, actually once. So now let's start solving Sudoku. How do we do that? First, observe properly. See which number is appearing maximum number of times, or which row or which column is filled the most. So here we see most of the rows and columns have two numbers there, and most of the numbers are appearing twice. So leaving out 1 because that is only once, let's choose any other number. Let's start with 4 then. So 4 should come in the first row, second row, third, fourth and fifth row. First and second row already has a 4. So we need to fill 4 in this and this, these three rows. Let's go to our third row first. In third row, 4 can appear in these three blanks. But out of these three blanks, we can say that 4 can't come here. Why? Because this column already has a 4. So this cell is ruled out. Similarly, this cell can also be ruled out because this column already has a 4. So what is the only place left for 4? It's this. So here we can put our 4. Now let's move to this row and find where 4 can come. 4 can't come here because there is already a 4 above. 4 can come here or here, we can't really tell. So let's move to our last row. Here 4 can come out of these 4 empty cells. But from the explanation above, 4 can't come in these two because these two columns already have a 4. So 4 can come here as well as here, but not really sure where. So in such a scenario, let's move to another number. Let's pick 2 this time. So 2 is there in this row and 2 is also there in this row. So first, second and fifth row now needs a 2. Let's go to our first row then. Over here, 2 can appear in any of these 3 blank cells. But it cannot come here because there is already a 2 here. Again, there is already a 2 here. So the only place left for 2 is this. So we put our 2 here. Now, go to second row. 2 can come here, here or here. But it can't come here. It can't come here. So it can come here or here. But not really sure where. So let's move to our last row. Over here also we can't really say of here or here where it would come. So let's leave 2 for a while. Moving on to another digit. What do we see? That this column is almost filled. What is left over here? 1. So we can very well put 1 here. This column is complete. Now with the help of this column, let's try solving this row. This row now requires a 3 and a 4. Now since 3 cannot come here, 3 has to come here. So let's put a 3 here. And now since the only number left is 4 in this row, we can easily put a 4 over here. Let's look at this column then. Which numbers are left in this column? 2 and 5. Now since 5 is already here, 5 has to go here and 2 has to come here. Now let's go and find our place for other numbers. What is left in this third row? 1 and 5. We see that 5 is already here. So 1 should come here and 5 should go here. Now your Sudoku is becoming very easy to solve. If you are able to solve 1 or 2 rows, the rest of the rows can be very quickly filled up. What is left in this column if you see? 2 and 3. 3 is already in this row. So this column needs to have a 2 here and a 3 here. And now this row needs 1 and 4. 4 is already above. So this cell should have 1 and this cell should have 4. What is left in this row? A 1. So very conveniently put a 1 here. Now only 2 cells are left and this is for 3 and 5. 3 is appearing below, so it has to be 5. And the only number left is 3. So let's put 3. And yippee, we have our Sudoku solved. And you can cross check also that each digit is appearing in each of the row and column once and nowhere are they getting repeated. So we have been able to crack our Sudoku. Hope you all enjoyed this edition. Keep learning and keep growing. Keep shining, kids. See you. Bye bye.